Tonight we're going to get into the marriage parable, right? The parable of the marriage. Let me get that in Matthew 22 and 1, King.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 22 and verse number 1.
Bring it out.
And H.O.I answered and spake unto them again by parables, and said,
And H.O.I spake unto them again by parables, right? What is a parable? Let's find out what a parable is. Let me get Psalm 49 and 4.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 49 and verse 4, and it reads, I will incline my ear to a parable.
I will incline my ear to a parable. Read.
I will open my dark sayings upon the heart.
I will open my dark sayings. A parable is a dark saying, meaning you could read something and you could completely miss the dark saying if you're not paying attention, right? That's a parable. And if you're a servant of the Most High, you're gonna be occupied in the law and the prophets, and you're gonna seek out those mysteries. You're gonna seek out those parables. Bring that out in Sirach 39 and 1, King Baba Kashaw.
The book of Sirach, chapter 39 and verse number 1.
Bring it out.
But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof.
If you give your mind to the Most High, what you're supposed to be doing all day, every day, is giving your mind to the Most High. You're supposed to be occupied in the prophecies. Read.
Will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient.
And you're going to seek out the wisdom of all the ancient. Read.
And be occupied in prophecy.
And you're going to be occupied in prophecies. Right?
Right.
When you got your mind fixated on the Most High. Read.
Come. He will keep the sayings of the renowned men, and where subtle parables are, he will be there also.
Right, so where subtle parables are, crafty parables, right, you gonna be there. Right, read.
He will seek out the secrets of grave sentences.
You're gonna seek out the secret of grave sentences when it comes to this Bible. You're not just reading it for fun, man. You reading it trying to obtain salvation, and as you're doing that, the Most High gonna reveal these mysteries to you. Right? Read.
And be conversant in dark parables.
And you're gonna be conversant in dark parables. Right? A lot of time, me and the brothers, we speak with each other, you know, and there's brothers around us that they don't have no clue what we talking about because we speaking in dark parables. We speaking in dark sayings.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The level of the conversation is in a whole nother realm when you tapped in with the Most High truly, man.
Right.
Right? Let me get that in Psalm 78 and 2, King Baba.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 78, verse 2. I will open my mouth in a parable.
I will open my mouth in a parable. Read.
I will utter dark sayings of old.
I will utter dark sayings of old. So that's also what a parable is. It's a dark saying, but it's a dark saying of old. A dark saying of the Old Testament, of the old time, of the law and the prophets. The New Testament is full of parables and dark sayings, man. Sayings of old. Right? So that's what we finna get into. Let's go back to Matthew chapter 22 and verse 1.
Come. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 22 and verse number 1. And H.O.I answered and spake unto them again by parables.
So our Lord Yahweh spake unto them again by parables, dark sayings of old. Read.
And said, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son.
So the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a certain king that prepared a marriage for his son.
Right.
Who is the king? Right? You got to ask yourself, who is the king and who is the son? Now you got to go back to the dark sayings of old, meaning you got to go back in time to the Old Testament. Let me get that in, what I call Exodus.
Wake 'em up.
Exodus 4 and 21, King.
Wake 'em up.
Exodus chapter 4 and verse 21. And the Lord said unto Moses, when thou goest to return into Egypt, see that thou do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thy hand. But I will harden his heart, that he shall not let the people go.
Right, so the Most High put it in Pharaoh's heart to not let the children of Israel go, even when Moses go and tell them to let us go. The Most High let him know, hey, I'm going to harden his heart, and he's not going to let the children of Israel go. Next verse, read.
Verse 22. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son.
Israel is who?
Is my son.
Israel is the son of the Most High. Read.
Even my firstborn.
Even the firstborn of the Most High. Right? So go back to Matthew 22 and go down to verse 2. Read that again.
Matthew chapter 22 and verse number 2.
Bring it out.
The kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son.
Right, so that king is the Most High Yahweh. And that son is Israel. Right? That's the dark saying of old. Next verse, read.
And sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come.
Right, so he called some of his servants that was invited to the wedding, but they would not come. Right? So the servants that he invited to the wedding was you so-called Hellenistic niggas out here in the street, man.
Wake them up.
Right? Y'all was invited to the marriage, but y'all don't want to come to the marriage, meaning y'all don't want to submit to these laws, statutes, and commandments. Y'all don't want to follow the ways of the Most High in righteousness. Y'all rather follow the beast. Right? So y'all get the invitation, look at it, and be like, nah, I ain't going to that wedding. Right? Read.
Again, he sent forth other servants, saying, tell them which are bidden, behold, I have prepared my dinner.
The Most High say he done prepare his dinner, man. Read.
My oxen and my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready. Come unto the marriage.
Right, so the Most High is saying, come to the marriage. I got it laid out for you. Right? Everything is already laid out. Everything is paid for. Just show up, man. He's going to take care of you. Read.
But they made light of it. And
but they what?
But they made light of it.
They made light of the invitation, man. They treated it like it was nothing. They counted it like it was less than nothing. Read.
And went their ways, one to his farm, another to his merchandise.
Read.
And the remnant took his servants.
And who?
And the remnant took his servants.
Read.
And entreated them spitefully, and slew them.
So a remnant of the people that denied it, who denied the invite, they slew the servants, man. They slew the people that was inviting them to the wedding. Out of hatred, out of anger, out of jealousy, out of envy, out of malice, out of strife. Right? So that's just like us out here trying to bid our people back to the marriage, and you're going to have a few niggas that try to knock us off, or actually knock us off.
Right.
Thinking they doing the work of the Most High, man. Right? Read that again from the top.
And the remnant took his servants, and entreated them spitefully, and slew them.
So they're going to treat us spitefully, they're going to scorn and mock us, and they're going to slay us out here, man.
Right.
Right? Read.
But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth, and he sent forth his armies, and destroyed those murderers, and burnt up their city.
Read that again.
But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth.
When the king heard this, that his servants was getting slew and slayed by these wicked niggas, he was angry. He was upset. Right? Read.
And he sent forth his armies.
And he sent forth his armies. We're going to get into the armies of the Most High, man, because the army of the Most High can be creatures, right? Can be locusts. It could be other nations of people.
Right.
Right? Or it could be his death angels, man. But we're going to get into it. He's going to send forth his armies. Read.
And destroyed those murderers, and burned up their city.
And he's going to destroy those murderers and burn up the cities, man.
Come.
Behind his servants. Doing his will, doing his work. Right? Commanding us to go to the highways and hedges and bring our people back to the marriage supper of the Lamb. Bring you back to the covenant of the Most High.
That's right.
But our people hate it. Just like the brother said earlier, man, when this word come out, people start getting ghosts, man.
Right.
They don't want to sit here and listen to this word for 30 minutes or an hour.
Right.
But you could sit down and scroll on Instagram for 3 hours, 3 days.
Right.
Right.
You could sit and binge watch a damn show on Netflix for 2 weeks.
Right.
But you can't sit here and hear the word for 30 minutes. Right? Let me get that in Matthew 23 and 33.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 23 and verse 33.
Bring it out.
And it reads, ye serpents, ye generations of vipers, how can ye escape the damnation of hell?
Right, them serpents and vipers is talking about the scribes and Pharisees, man. And wicked niggas, man.
Right.
They vipers. Read.
Wherefore, behold, I send unto you prophets and wise men and scribes.
Right, the Most High sent amongst them prophets, wise men, and scribes. Right, read.
And some of them ye shall kill and crucify.
Right, and some of us they gonna kill and crucify. You gonna kill the prophets, the wise men, right? But you gonna kill and crucify them. Read.
And some of them shall ye scourge in your synagogues, and persecute them from city to city.
And you're gonna persecute and scourge us in your synagogues from city to city. That's already going on right now. Again, right? It went on in the scriptures in ancient times, but that same thing is happening right now in the earth, man.
Teach.
We starting to be persecuted, locked up, put to death for teaching this gospel, man.
Right.
Read.
That upon you may come all the righteous bloodshed upon the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel unto the blood Abel, Salakia, righteous Abel unto the blood of Zacharias, son of Barachitis, whom ye slew between the temple and the altar.
Right, so the Most High put out a decree that righteous bloodshed is going to happen in the earth for you slaying the innocent.
Right.
For you slaying the servants that's inviting you to the marriage supper of the Lamb.
Come.
For you slaying Abel, man, and Zacharias, man. Right? It's hell to pay for touching the Most High servants, man.
That's right.
Right? So who was killing the prophets? The scribes and Pharisees and the wicked 2/3 that rejected the gospel.
Right.
Right? Let's go back to Matthew 22 and go to verse 6, King Baba Kashar.
Come, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 22, and verse number 6.
Bring it out.
And the remnant took his servants, and entreated them spitefully, and slew them. But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth, and he sent forth his armies, and destroyed those murderers, and burned up their city.
Right, so the Most High is going to be angry. He's going to be pissed off when y'all start persecuting us and putting us to death, and he going to send that army against y'all, man.
Right.
Right? He going to send that army. Let me get that in Daniel 4:35. Right, so we can get who this army is.
This is the book of Daniel chapter 4 and verse 35.
Bring it out.
And all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing.
All the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing. The Gentiles, the heathens of the other nations, they are being reputed as nothing, man.
That's
Spittle.
right.
Right? Read.
And he do according to his will in the army of heaven.
And he what?
And he do according to his will in the army of heaven.
Right, so the army of heaven, like I mentioned earlier, it could be locusts, right? It could be different plagues. That's his army. Different insects, right? And it also can be different nations of people. Them the armies of heaven, man.
Right.
Any nation of people he want to use to bring forth death and destruction, hey, that's considered the army of heaven. Right? Read.
And among the inhabitants of the earth, and none can stay his hand, or say unto him, what thou doest.
Right, so
What
none
doest
could,
thou?
Salakia, so none could stay at his hand, man. Nobody able to withstand the wrath of the Most High, or the righteous wrath of the Most High,
Right.
known as indignation in the scriptures. Can't nobody withstand that, man. Right? Let me get Matthew 22 and 7, King.
Book of Matthew, chapter 22, and verse number 7.
Bring it out.
But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth, and he sent forth his armies, and destroyed those murderers, and burned up their cities.
Right, so the Most High gonna burn down the city for his servants, man. Right? He gonna send his armies on you wicked niggas, man.
Right.
For touching the servants. Right? Bring that out, King.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 1.
Bring it out.
Keep not thou silent, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh.
Right, read.
For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Read.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Read.
They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Right, so the Most High put the spirit on these heathens to come against Israel.
Right.
Right? That's who did that. The Most High put the spirit on these heathens. But this is the army of the Most High. Read.
Come.
Verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
Read. The armies of the Most High. Read.
The tabernacles of Edom.
The tabernacles of Edom. That's the army of heaven. Read.
And the Ishmaelites.
And the Ishmaelites. That's the army of heaven. Read.
Of Moab.
The Moabites, the Chinese, the armies of heaven. Read.
And the Hagarenes.
The Hagarenes, the Hamites. Read.
Gabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Read.
Ashur also is joined with them. They have hoping the children of Lot. Salah.
Right, so what the brother just read was Edom and the other nations on down. Ishmael, Moab, Amalek, right? Tyre. Those are the enemies of Israel. But those are also the armies of the Most High.
Right.
Whenever Israel do wickedly, the Most High will send his heathen nations that are reputed as nothing to come and lay the hammer down on the nation of Israel, man.
Right.
Wake them up.
Right? Those are the armies of heaven. We need to understand that when we get into this parable, right? That's full of dark sayings, right? Grave sentences. You need to understand who the enemies, Salaki, the armies of heaven are. You need to understand that. Bring that out in Psalm 78, King Baba Kashar.
The book of Psalms, chapter 78, and verse number 6.
Bring it out.
Bring it out.
That the generation to come might know them, even the children which shall be born, who should arise and declare them to their children.
Read.
That they might set their hope in God, and not forget the works of God, but keep his commandments.
Oh, what?
But keep his commandments.
Right. So we got hope in the Most High, man. Right? And we're going to keep them laws, statutes, and commandments no matter what.
That's
no matter
right.
what type of adversity we face with our people.
That's right.
Right? We go to war for the Most High here on these streets, man. We don't care who don't receive it. We would like it for you to receive it, but it don't mean us no never mind, man.
Right.
You fulfill prophecy when you reject this word, man.
Right.
Read that again, that last verse.
That they might set their hope in God, and not forget the works of God, but keep his commandments.
Read.
And might not be as their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that set not their heart aright. God, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 74 and verse number 6.
Bring it out.
But now they break down the carved work thereof at once, with axes and hammers.
Read.
They have cast fire into thy sanctuary.
They have cast fire into thy sanctuary. Right? Now this is going into the heathens, man. Right? The heathens done ran in our temple and cut down our altars, man.
Right.
Cut down our temple furniture, right? And they done burnt up the sanctuary. Because that's the army of the Most High, man, when Israel doing wickedly. Read.
They have defiled by casting down the dwelling places. Slakia. By casting down the dwelling place of thy name to the ground.
The dwelling place of his name is the temple, man. They cast that down to the ground, right? When Israel being wicked, the Most High gonna send the other nations against us, man.
Right.
And they gonna wreck stuff, man. They gonna cut down the temple, the place of worship. Read.
They said in their hearts, let us destroy them together. They have burned up all the synagogues of God in the land.
Read.
We see not our signs. There is no more any prophet, neither is there among us any that knoweth how long. O God, how long shall thy adversary reproach? Shall the enemy blaspheme thy name forever?
Right, so Daniel asking questions, man. How long is this gonna last? When the Most High send them armies against you, man, you gonna be praying, begging him to stop, man.
Right.
When Jacob's trouble happened, and you see all these damn Edomites flood your streets with weapons of war, of death and destruction, you're gonna be praying to the Most High to ask him when he gonna make this stop.
Right.
Right? Go back to Matthew 22 and 7, King Baba Kashar.
The book of Matthew, chapter 22 and verse number 7. But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth, and he sent forth his armies, and destroyed those murderers, and burned up their cities.
And burned up their cities, man. He sent forth his armies and burnt up the cities, man. Cause of that so-called black on black crime, man. That Israelite on Israelite crime. Right? That's the repercussions for that. Read.
Then said he to his servants, the wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy.
Right, so the wedding was ready, but they that was told to come to the wedding, they was not worthy, man. You know what I'm saying? They was not worthy. And that's how it's gonna be in that day, man. That's how it's gonna be in that day, man. Those that was invited to the wedding, they wasn't worthy. That's why you gotta always pray that you're worthy to be saved, man.
Right.
You always gotta pray that. Let me get that in Luke 15 and 20, King Baba Kashar.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 15 and verse 20, and it reads,
Bring it out.
And he arose and came to his father. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him.
Right, so this is going to the prodigal son, man. Right? Read that again from the top.
This is Luke 15 and 20. And he arose and came to his father. But when he was yet a greater way off,
When he was a way off, right? Meaning he was in sin. He was a way off. He was deep into transgressing the laws of the Most High. He was living like the heathens.
Right.
Read.
his father saw him and had compassion and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him.
Right, and this is symbolic for Israel too, man. Right? The Father had compassion on him. Right? The same way the Father have compassion on us right now, man.
Right.
Right.
Read.
And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and I am no more worthy to be called thy son.
Right, so when you living in sin, you is not worthy. Right? When you living in sin, you are not worthy. You are unworthy when you living in sin, man.
Right.
That's why he said when I invited them to the wedding, when I bidded them to the marriage, they was not worthy. Right? Because they in sin, they in transgression. Right? Let me go to Matthew 22 and 8.
The book of Matthew, chapter 22 and verse number 8.
Bring it out.
Then saith he to his servants, the wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy.
They that were bidden were not worthy, man, meaning that they was in transgression. They was in sin. That's what's gonna keep you out the marriage supper, man. Sin. You know what I'm saying? Not repenting when you go off. That's going to keep you out the marriage supper of the Lamb.
Right.
Right? Let me get that in Matthew. Matthew 26 and 45.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 26 and verse 45, and it reads,
Bring it out.
Then cometh he to his disciples, and saith unto them, Sleep on now, and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hand of sinners.
The Son of Man is betrayed into the hand of sinners. Who are the sinners? The scribes, the Pharisees, right? The wicked Israelites that reject Hamashiach Yahushua,
Teach.
right? The time has come where the Most High is going to put Christ in the hand of sinners, man.
Right.
For our sakes. Go back to Matthew 22 and 9.
The book of Matthew, chapter 22, and verse number 9.
Bring it out.
Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as you shall find, bid to the marriage. So those servants went out into the highways, and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good.
Bad. They found the bad people, the sinners, and they found the good, the righteous and upright. Read.
And the wedding was furnished with guests.
And the wedding was furnished with guests. This is prophecy, right? This is prophecy. This is what's going to happen in that day where our Lord Hamashiach Yahweh shall return, man.
Come.
Right? Read.
And when the king came in to see...
That's in on that. Let me get Matthew 23 and 34 came up.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 23 and verse 34, and it reads,
Bring it out.
Wherefore, behold, I send unto you prophets and wise men,
Right.
and scribes, and some of them ye shall kill,
And what?
Ye shall kill,
And some of them ye shall kill. Read.
and crucify, and some of them shall ye scourge in your synagogues, and persecute them from city to city, that upon you may come all the righteous, bloodshed upon the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel unto the blood of Zacharias, son of Barchias, whom ye slew between the temple and the altar.
Right. So that righteous recompense is going to come back on the heads of those unworthy Israelites. Right? Because that's who's invited to the wedding, Israel.
Right.
Ain't no other nation and people invited to the wedding, man.
That's right.
The Most High made a covenant, a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. That's it. Those are the only ones that are being invited to the wedding. Right? Let me go back to Matthew 22, 9 and 10.
The book of Revelation, Matthew, chapter 22, and verse number 9.
Bring it out.
Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as you shall find, bid to the marriage.
As many as you shall find, bid them to the marriage. Anybody that's willing to walk up and hearken to this word, you inviting them to the marriage supper of the Lamb. Read.
So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together. And gathered together.
And gathered together. The servants went out to the highways and hedges and gathered together. Read.
All as many as they found.
All as many as they found. Right? Which is going to be a remnant. It's going to be a remnant. We gathering as many as people we could find to come and fight for the Most High in these last days, man.
Right.
Right.
Right? Let me get that in Zephaniah 2 and 1.
This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1.
Bring it out.
Reads, Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
Right, you got to gather together. That's why we out here, to gather together our people. Why? Because we are a nation not desired, man. Read.
Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you.
Before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you. Because you're not worthy. Read.
Before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth.
Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth. You humble brothers and sisters, seek the Lord while he may be found. Read.
Right.
Which have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness. Seek meekness. It may be ye shall be Salakia. It may be ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger.
That it may be you that is hid in that day of the Lord's anger, man.
Right.
Right? You want to be hid in the day of the Lord's anger, because the Most High finna bring judgment on our nation, man. Judgment start at the house of the Most High.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And you want to be hid. Where you going to be hid at? Let me get that in Isaiah 26, King Baba Kashar.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 26, and verse number 20. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers.
Into where?
Into thy chambers.
Read.
And shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as it were for a little moment.
Hide thyself as if it was for a little moment, man. It's time to lock yourself in your chambers, man. Right? And hide yourself from the wrath of the Lord that he finna bring on our people, man.
Right.
Because they not worthy. We inviting you to the marriage supper and you refusing to come, man.
Come.
You basically choosing your side by not showing up to the marriage supper, man. You better hide yourself. Right? Read that last verse again.
God, hide thyself as it were for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed.
Until the indignation be overpassed. Right? That indignation is righteous wrath, man. That's righteous judgment, righteous recompense. Let me get that in 2 Chronicles 6 and 6.
This is the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 6 and verse 6, and it reads,
Bring it out.
But I have chosen Jerusalem, that my name might be there, and have chosen David to be over my people Israel.
My people Israel. Right? That's where the Most High name is at. That's the only ones that's invited to that wedding, man. Right? Read that again in Isaiah.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 26 and verse number 20.
Bring it out.
Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as it were for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed.
Right, so my people Israel, you need to hide yourself for a little moment, man, till that indignation pass. Right? That indignation is gonna pass, man. Bring that out in Malachi 1 and 4, King Baba Kashar.
This is the book of Malachi, chapter 1 and verse 4.
Bring it out.
reads, Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever.
The people who the Lord have indignation for forever, man. That indignation is also coming to the nation of Edom.
Right.
Right? The Most High is bringing judgment on these heathen nations that led us into captivity.
Right.
It's going to be simultaneously with Jacob's trouble as well as the other nations being destroyed at once, man.
Come.
They all going to feel the judgment just the same. Right? 2/3 of our people going to be cut down, and these wicked nations that's in power finna be cut down, man.
Right.
Simultaneously. Right? That's where the indignation is coming from, man. The righteous wrath of the Most High for what Edom did to our people.
Right.
Right? Because that's why a lot of our people turn away from the invitation. Esau got so much stuff going on, so much distraction and entertainment. Our people like, nah, we don't want to deal with that right now, man. We having too much fun in Esau society. Right? They having fun getting high, smoking blunts, twerking, going to the clubs, listening to this demonic rap music, man.
Right.
They having too much fun out here in these streets on the Sabbath, man.
Right.
Gambling, pimping hoes. And you invite them to the marriage supper, they don't want to come. right? You invite them to have rulership over the nations, our people ain't got nothing to do with that, man. They on that God loves everybody talk, man.
Wicked.
Wicked, man. Right? Let me see what let's go back to let me see what I want. Let's go back to Isaiah 26 and 20 and read on down.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 26 and verse number 20.
Bring it out.
Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as it were for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed.
Until the indignation be overpassed. Read.
For behold, the Lord cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth.
The Lord coming out his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth.
Right.
That's the second coming. That's the second coming of a Mashiach Yahushua. Right? Read.
For their iniquity, the earth also shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain.
Right. So the Most High finna wreak judgment on the earth, man.
Right.
He finna use Yahushua to do just that. Right? Because nobody hearkening to the servants. You killing the servants. You persecuting the servants for bringing out the truth, man.
Right.
You shadow banning. You banning. Right? It's a recompense for that.
Right.
Zephaniah 2 and 3, King Baba.
This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 3. Seek ye the Lord, all ye meek of the earth.
Seek ye the Lord, all the humble, man. All the humble brothers and sisters, right now is the time to come find the Most High. Read.
Which have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. It may be ye shall be hid in the day of the Lord's anger.
Right, it might be you that's going to be hid in the day of the Lord's anger, man. And you want it to be you.
Right.
You don't want to get caught out there while the Most High snapping, man.
Right.
You definitely don't want to get caught out there, man. Let me get Psalms 25 and 9.
The book of Psalms, chapter 25 and verse number 9. The meek will be his guide in judgment.
The meek will be his guide in judgment, pertaining to the system of the law, statutes, and commandments.
Right.
You got laws, statutes, commandments. You got judgments, man. Read.
And the meek will he teach his way.
And the meek, the humble, will he teach his ways. That's the only type of people that's really gonna hearken.
Right.
Is the humble. People that have a attentive ear, man.
Wake 'em
People
up.
that's slow to speak. People that want to increase their knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That's the meek. That's the humble, man. A
Right.
prideful person is going to turn down the invitation to the marriage.
Right.
Right? You're going to turn down the invite to eternal life, man. Right? Let me get that in Psalm 119.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 119. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 31. I have stuck unto thy testimony. O Lord, put me not to shame.
Read.
I will run the way of thy commandments.
I will what?
I will run the way of thy commandments when thou shalt enlarge my heart.
And that's what we telling our people to do, man. Run the way of the commandments. Right?
That's right.
Run the way of the commandments. Turn back to these statutes and commandments, man.
Right.
So you can inherit eternal life. How should I say, if you want to enter into life, keep the commandments, man. Blessed are they that keep the commandments. It's that simple. Read.
He teach me, O Lord, the way of thy statutes, and I shall keep it unto the end.
Teach me thy statutes, and I shall keep it to the end, man. That's the agreement that we made with the Most High.
Right.
Right? From the beginning, that we would do all this law. Right? And that's what we're going to do, man. And repentance is part of the commandments. Forsaking your wicked ways is a part of the commandments. Right? Let me get that in Isaiah.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 49 and verse number 18.
Bring it out.
Lift up thine eyes around about, and behold, all these gather themselves together and come to thee. As I live, saith the Lord, thou shalt surely clothe thee with them all, as with an ornament, and bind them on thee as a bride doeth.
Right, he talking about Israel, man. He's going to adorn us, man. Right, read that again from the top.
God, lift up thine eyes round about, and behold, all these gather themselves together and come to thee. As I live, saith the Lord.
They gather together and come to the Most High, man. Right, read.
Thou shalt surely clothe thee with them all, as with an ornament, and bind them on thee as a bride doeth.
Right. So the Most High is preparing his bride, man, which is the nation of Israel. And we got to keep that oil in our lamp till the bridegroom come, man.
Right.
We got to keep that oil burning in our lamp till the bridegroom come. We can't let these unworthy people try to pull us out of the marriage supper, man.
Right.
That's right.
This is where it's at. It's popping. The Most High prepared dinner for us, man. A great dinner, a great ceremony, man. We just got to endure. Right? We got to gather together, O nation not desired, and be meek and humble so we can receive this gospel, man.
Right.
The word of truth, which is the gospel. Right? Let me get Revelation 7:1, King Baba Kashar. And you let me get Isaiah 8:16.
The book of Revelations, chapter 7 and verse number 1.
Bring it out.
And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree.
Right, so those 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth is holding back the 4 winds, which represents destruction. Right? They holding back the destruction. Why? Because we're doing this assignment right here. Inviting people back to the marriage supper of the Lamb, man.
Right.
Right.
You know, invitations go out. That's only for a time period that they sending out invitations, man. For the wedding. When you get invited to a wedding, it's a point in time where they start sending out invitations.
Right.
And then it's a point in time where they stop sending out the invitations. And then the ceremony is going to proceed.
Right.
The same thing with the Most High, man. The same exact thing with the Most High. He's holding back the 4 winds until he seal his people.
Right.
Read verse 2.
And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God.
Having the what?
The seal of the living God.
Having the seal of the living power. Read.
And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea.
The power was given to the angels to hurt the earth and the sea. Read.
Saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their forehead.
That's
Right.
right.
So the angels can't hurt the earth, the sea, or the trees until the servants of the Most High be sealed, man. And that's what we out here to do, to seal our people. Right? What are we sealing our people with? Let me get that, King.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 8 and verse 16.
Bring it out.
Bind up the testimony. Seal the law among my disciples.
Bind up the testimony and seal the law among my disciples. That's what we doing, man. We sealing the law amongst the Most High's disciples, man.
Right.
That's what's going to be sealed in their foreheads, the law, statutes, and commandments. And the only people that is under the law, statutes, and commandments are the Hebrew Israelites, man.
That's right.
The only people that's invited to the wedding are Hebrew Israelites.
Come.
You can't get around it. This is speaking about the new covenant, right? The new marriage, so to say, that we got with the Most High, man. Because he wrote us a bill of divorce once upon a time, the children of Israel. He wrote us a bill of divorce and sent us away, man.
Right.
Right? But he decided, right, to get back with us, man.
Right.
And that's grace and mercy and compassion for his people. You know what I'm saying? His anger don't burn for eternity against his people, man. It might last for a little while, 4 or 5 centuries, right? But he hasn't cast us off as a nation of people. We got to come back to the marriage supper of the Lamb, man.